Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Worthyworthitpriceless. And this podcast is titled What Broke You? And so I will tell you my story. Now, although there may have been things in my childhood that broke me, this is something that had a significance on me as an adult. And that situation was actually seeing my ex with someone else. And let's just get into it. So for a little bit of background context, we had already been broken up. We broke up on May 21st. This happened on August 14th, and it was at his brother's funeral. And a little bit more context, we were going off and on. We were dating off and on for about 15 years. We knew each other since the 9th grade. Okay. So either way, as we're going to my daughter and I were going to his brother's funeral, as I'm putting my daughter in the car, something said to me, like, what if he's there with somebody else? And I'm like, well, I guess it's something I have to deal with at the time, but I never thought that he would actually be there with someone else. Because we've had, yes, I have maybe caught a girl in his phone or something like that, but never to the point of seeing it face to face, like nothing ever, you know what I mean? Or if I seen him with somebody else or whatever, it was always an excuse or something like that, whatever. But to actually see it, I never physically saw it. So anyway, me and my daughter, we come in late. Everybody's already sitting down. And so how we have to come into the funeral or memorial at this time, we're going through the front doors. And so everybody is basically looking at us. You know how you go into a classroom and everybody's sitting down. You know how that goes. So it's basically that was it. And so from the door, I could see him sitting with someone else. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? I did know who the girl was, me and her. We were Facebook friends, but I didn't know her personally, of her, whatever. I met her, blah, blah, blah. And for context, no, I do not have an issue with her. My issue has always been with him. So either way, but me and her never really had a conversation. It's a thing, but either way, don't want to get into all that, but either way. So anyway, I go in and I sit next to his mother, and so basically I have to sit behind. He's sitting directly behind my seat, and she is off, I believe, to my left. And so as he's going through his emotions through, memorial, and obviously that is understandable, but I can hear it. And she's comforting him. And I'm like, oh my God, can I just leave? I was so ready to go. My anxiety was up, everything. And I'm sitting there so uncomfortable, and I'm just praying to God, let this hurry up. And God is like, it's not about you or him. It is about his brother. And God was also saying, do not worry about what's behind you. Focus on what's in front of you. And I'm like, man, can this hurry up? People's giving their testimonies and all this other stuff. And, they're giving, they're encouraging, they're talking about stories about his brother and everything like that. And so I'm like, dude, I was just so ready to go. And so when it was finally over, I'm trying to beeline for the door. I'm being respectable. I'm meeting everybody. I see which direction. Excuse me. I see which direction that they go in, him and the girl. And I'm trying to go the opposite way. So they go around the back. I'm trying to go around the front. I'm meeting through people, we gone. Me and my daughter, we gone. She's like a baby. I've got her out of there, right? And so, but as we're going around the front, guess who we run into? Them. I'm like, dang. Right? And so it's no way that I can maneuver out of this, because basically by the time I come out the door, they see us. So, I bring her over there to see her father, blah, blah, blah. They 1-2 step. And as soon as he walked away with the girl, because he barely acknowledged me, whatever, you know how that goes. And so as soon as they turn their back, we out. Like, I took my daughter, we already almost to the car, child. I was gone. And like I said, it broke me. We were off and on, like I said, for about 15 years. And there were certain things, that you go through in a relationship. But I was always there for him. And a lot of times I made excuses for the things that he didn't do or whatever. It was like I felt like somehow I always had to be there for him or something. It was this weird thing. I guess it was codependency. That's what I can probably put. And it's like I just wanted it to work. It was like, if he's going to change for anybody, I wanted it to be me. Like I put in the work. Like, of course, if you're going to change for anybody, heck yeah, I'm going to be here. You know what I mean? Because I want to be the recipient of you changing. Like I put in the work. Of course, I should be your wife. But in all actuality, it wasn't meant to be. We weren't meant to be. And that was something basically God told me. So it's not just something I'm saying. But not only that, it was other situations too. And I want to share this because I want to give you guys encouragement, or anybody who's going through a breakup, to realize that sometimes just because you love somebody during a relationship don't mean that love continues after the relationship is over. So after we broke up, and I'm actually rewinding a little bit. So we broke up, like I said, May 21st. And because it was like 10 days before my birthday, so I remember. But by June, he posted on social media that he was in a relationship. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. Because when we were going together, like I said, off and on for 15 years, he never posted that he was in a relationship. Never. There's no pictures of me and him on social media. There may be a picture of that I put, like, of our pictures and seeing if, who our daughter looks like, but no pictures of us together, no tagging me, nothing like that. There was never that. And once that happened, like, all of a sudden you're in a relationship. As soon as we get out of, your relationship status changes. Once we break up, like, ain't this about nothing, right? And then when he got with his now wife, then all of a sudden, there's pictures of them two. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, dang. You know what I mean? And so it was that, and it was just other things. But that, like I said, I've never seen him with another woman. You know what I mean? So actually seeing that, and then having to go through that with everyone watching. You know what I mean? This was family and friends, not of mine in particular, but of his. And, obviously if we're together for 15 years, I've seen all these guys. You know what I mean? I had to go through that with everybody watching. And I just never thought that he would do that to me. You know what I mean? I thought that there was some level of respect. But what I slowly realized, that once we broke up, respect was out the window. Just basically, like, respect for me was out the window. I did talk to him about, like, hey, you know what I mean, about that situation. And he was like, what did you expect me to do? Like, my brother died or whatever. You expect me to tell you that I was in a relationship with somebody else or I was talking to somebody else? Like, of course. Like, I would never wanted someone to blindside you. Like, I would have never did that to him. And I think that was the thing too. It was like, things were happening to me. Like, he was doing things after our breakup that I would have never did to him. Like, hey, we broke up. It wasn't meant to be, whatever. You know what I mean? But I still would have wished him peace. I would have never did anything like that to him. But that wasn't the case. And so my encouragement is to anyone, you got to be careful who you date, because you don't know, once you're done dating that person, you don't know how they're going to react. But what I also would do too is say, not only, I'll change the title, I guess, and say, not say what broke me, but what grew me. It broke me out of the shell of my mind of that cycle that I was going through. It broke me out of being the old person that I was, the naive person. Like, hey, I love you, you love me, and we'll be together forever, or we'll be, basically be doing the cycle. But it grew me to realize that there was more to life than just loving that person. It grew me to realize that there was more inside of me that needed to come out. Dating him was like a full-time job. You know what I mean? And no disrespect to him, I loved him while we were dating or whatever. And we do have a beautiful child together, so I wouldn't disrespect him. But at the end of the day, it took a lot, because dating him took a lot of energy. And it was a lot of stuff I had to do for him, because it seemed like he couldn't do things on his own or whatever. And it's like, no matter what, it's like I was devoted to him. I wanted to make sure that he was good or whatever. And so making sure that he was good meant that I couldn't fully put that on myself, like put that energy on myself. Not saying I didn't go to school or nothing like that, but it was just like, it was like a full-time job, dating him and trying to make sure that he was straight. And a lot of times that may have not been reciprocated all the way. So I'm just going to leave that there. But at the end of the day, it grew me to see that there was more to life. And so, not that I would thank him for that situation, but I thank God for it, because had that not happened, you may have not seen me in this capacity. I didn't have a podcast at that time. I don't know if I would have been able or strong enough to share this story or anything like that. So I won't say that it broke me, but I will say that it grew me into being the woman that or is growing me into being the woman that God has created me to be. And so that is the encouragement that I'll give to anyone. Don't look at the situation as though it breaks you, but it will grow you into the next level and what you need. And it's okay to cry, because Lord, it was tears. It was tears. But those tears was watering me. And those are things that I had to get out, because that was 15 years of pain that I was like in a cycle of. It was 15 years of brainwashing, manipulation. And a lot of that wasn't even him. It was me. It was me thinking that I had to be with him. It was me thinking that, hey, if he's going to change, I want to be the recipient of that, no matter what he did. It was me, and the mind games and all of that stuff. So I'm not saying that he didn't have a part in it, but I am taking the responsibility of what happened to me. I stayed too long. I saw those red flags, and I still rode that ride, and I was still there. And no matter what happened, oh, that's my man. Yeah, he okay. It's all right. He did this, came home late, did this, or it's okay. It's okay. I kept saying it was okay until it wasn't. until we had a breakup one day or our breakup, and we had an argument. We were already basically broken up, but we had an argument. And from that argument, he told me to get out. You know what I mean? And that was it. And to him, he said, oh yeah, I always told Tammy to get out, but I didn't think that she was ever going to do it. But to me, I was tired. I was just waiting. That was a hard pass for me. I'm getting the heck out of here. It took me like 10 hours. So that's happened around noon till like, I think it took me about till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. And I packed all my stuff out and I took it to my mom's house. And so, crazy enough, that isn't what broke me, because we always broke up or whatever. It wasn't that thing. But like I said, seeing him with somebody else, it's like, dang, you know what I mean? It's like, you really hate me. And it was other things, like I said, after the relationship. So anyway, I don't want to keep going back through the same thing, but at the end of the day, I just want to give you guys encouragement, because especially if you have a relationship with someone, you don't know how they're going to react afterwards. And you kind of got to prepare yourself for anything. Sometimes you guys can break up and you guys can be the best of friends. Sometimes you break up, that's your worst enemy. And, there's nothing that you can do about it. But just realize that if that person isn't in your life, then maybe for a reason. Everything isn't worth going back to. Sometimes you have to leave situations where they are and allow God to give you better. So, and even if you haven't gotten to that point yet, realize that better is coming. You would have never got out of that situation if that was where you were supposed to be. So I hope this gives you guys some sort of encouragement. Just so you know as well, if you made it this far, I do have music out. It's under my full name, under Tammy Michelle Simmons. I almost forgot my name for a minute. It's on all streaming platforms. I'm a spoken word artist, so for the most part, I'm not singing at all. Well, I'm talking about for the most part. I'm not singing at all, but it is, for the most part, like soothing music and calming music for the most part. And aside from that, I also am an author. So you look up Tammy Simmons, and on Amazon, and all my books are on there. There's one about relationships. There's one about self-worth. It's called You Are Worthy, Worth, and Priceless. There's another one that's called Healing from the Breakup. So basically, healing, heal from the hurt. Actually, it's the title. And the other one is about speaking about my daughter and her autism. So I got you covered on everything. But either way, this has been long enough. So I love you guys. And until next time, please be encouraged. And if you went through the similar story as I have, please know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to get through the tunnel first. Okay? Until next time, love you guys.